All right, let me recap. Now I've got the engine starting, and not just only starting, it's cold starting, normally perfectly normal. So that tells me that the fuel delivery system is fine, the engine compression is fine. So the problem is not there. And because the engine revs throughout the rev range all the way up to 10,000 RPMs before it gets really warm, so it doesn't seem mechanical. So that means pistons, crank, bleed valves are okay. And that's what makes me believe that the problem is electrical rather than mechanical or fuel delivery system. And what I have done previously is I have tested the stator when it was in cold state, and I have tested the ignition coil when it was also in cold state. I have replaced the spark plugs with the new ones, and then when I started the bike, it reached 63 degrees, and as I tried to rev it, the misfire was clear and obvious again. So the problem persisted there. So it's not the spark plugs. Now I've got a couple of things in mind. It's possible that when the stator gets warm, then it starts to make problems. That's possible. In order to verify this, I'll have to warm up the engine until it bogs and then test the stator again. Now, the second thing in my mind, that if the wiring harness is in contact with any hot surface such as the silencers or the exhaust, then there is a good chance that the heat is going to melt the insulation and that the wires will be exposed and they will come in contact with the exhaust. Now, this has happened with me before, and it happened with me when I was like in the middle of the desert. I was like 10 kilometers away from civilization, but luckily I was not alone. I had a friend with me, and because I always keep tools with me in the bike, including pulling rope, and so we were able to pull the bike using his bike all the way to my truck and pushed it and put it back. And then I came here, I tested, and I saw the problem. So this might be that again. Now, especially that I did some work related to the electrical system recently, and this issue happened right after I did that work. So maybe I missed something there, so I'll check there. Now, if wiring harness checks clear and it's not in contact with any hot surface, I'll do the hot testing for the stator. If that checks clear, then I'll have really no option except start swapping parts. That means I'll swap the ignition coil on the bike with another one that I have. I'll swap the stator with another one that I have, but note that the stator that I have is not typically the stock stator of Banshee. As because I'm running a DC system, so I isolated the ground. The stator is not feeding any ground to the bike anymore. It's feeding, the entire electricity just goes to the regulator rectifier, and from there, the rectifier converts the AC to DC electricity, and it goes to the battery. Anyway, I'll go through the remaining testing series, and I'll see where this is going to lead me. So stick around and watch. Okay, let's start with that. First, I'll take a look. Maybe with visual inspection, I can cover the path of the wiring harness and make sure that it's not in contact with any hot components. Let's see. I think I found something. Make it as clear as possible. Now this is part of the wiring harness, and it seems very close to the muffler. Very, very close to the muffler. I recently made some work here with the cables and wires for the LED lights. I added these plastic conduits. I rearranged them. I could accidentally have put the wiring harness closer to the ignition right here. Now, it's unavoidable. I'll have to remove the rear plastic cover, take a closer look, make sure that there are no wires coming in contact with metal there. The way the ignition system for this bike works, or the kill switch here, probably most of the people might think that when we kill the engine this way, then we stop the electricity from the engine, but that's not what's happening. When we kill the electricity this way, we are grounding the electricity and preventing any electricity from going to the engine. So we do not cut the circuit, we ground the circuit. So if any electricity here is touching the muffler, it's forming as ground, and this could be the reason. Let me remove the cover, check it out, and make sure that this is not the cause, or maybe this is the cause. So let's see. Yeah. Whenever I'm taking any fasteners of any machine, I like to keep all the parts related to it, washers and the nut, all together in one piece like that, so I don't lose any components. Here's one. By the way, these fasteners are 10 millimeters. Now, those fasteners supposed to be 10 millimeters, but these are aftermarket fasteners that I have installed. They are Allen key 4 mm each. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are 8, 9, and 10. So that's 10 fasteners holding the rear cover. And yes, I'm needless to say, I'm using locking nuts all around the bike, all over the bike. The engine vibrates like crazy. If I use ordinary nuts, they will definitely go loose. I will definitely lose some fasteners at places and times where I don't want to lose them. The electrical master switch is here, and currently it's attaching the rear cover with the bike via some wires which I don't want to lose or cut. So I'll take the electrical master switch off. This is what I'm talking about. Now this is not allowing the cover to go because of all of these cables right here. Yeah, so I'll have to remove the switch. The nut holding the switch is 13 mm. Anyway, this is an aftermarket setup. And it's not very easy to remove because it's buried deep inside this groove. Unfortunately, I could not find any nut drive suitable for this buried nut, so I'll have to do it with this set of pliers. When things doesn't work, this really helps. And that's it. Just a small little one. Okay. It is released now. What a relief. As usual, I'm putting everything together. Everything related to one part stays with this one part all the time. Okay, and now I can remove this. Now, I just confirmed that the wiring harness was coming in contact with the muffler. I'll try to show you that. The angle is very, very, very difficult, but I'll try my best to show you this. Yeah, I think this is pretty clear. And this could be the cause. I've been there once. One more time. Now, if the insulation of the wires is affected, then probably this is the cause. And from here, actually the camera is helping me with that. It seems it's affected. But anyway, no. There is a metal guard here that makes things very difficult to reach. Now, I'll try my best, I'll work, I'll see what I reach. Just by feeling it, I can feel that the insulation has melted. I am still unable to look at it, but I'll just get it out of there. That's pretty tight place. I'll have to release it from the back. That means I will unplug the CDI unit, the brake lights, and get the wiring harness totally loose up to this point. And there is a ground cable here that I will get it loose. Now, I'll let it soak for 2-3 minutes until I deal with this. Oops. Oh, it is released. That's just not working. So I'm just going to cut the ground wire. It's only a ground wire, and this will make the wiring loom free to move afterwards. Later on I can connect this to any fastener anywhere around the bike's frame. It's not an issue. Don't worry about this loose cable. This is basically for the stock electrical regulator which was on the bike. I have cancelled this one. I installed regulator rectifier because I'm running a DC system instead of the stock AC system. Here's the ground wire which I did cut. Now, as I expected, here is what I have found. Now I'm going to have to address this. I remove the insulation from this part all the way to this part, re-insulate these wires. Watch it. There's a green and there's a yellow wire and there's another yellow wire. All of these are exposed. So now I'll cut the insulation, but I'll be very careful not to cut any wires, just insulation. This is also slightly exposed, so I'll apply insulation. This is the last one. Right, now that all the wires are insulated, I'll just redo the insulation, the outer insulation of the wiring harness. Doing the outer insulation of the wiring harness is something very important. You definitely don't want wires exposed like that, hanging in there. So I'll put them all together. Wiring harness is all fixed now. I'll have to mount it in a way where I ensure that it does not come in touch with this pipe. Now, unfortunately, the path of the wiring harness and the path of the exhaust pipe intercepts here at this point. And that's unfortunate because there's only so little space here, and there is a good chance that they will come in contact. And I know the cure for this situation. Yes, zip ties. Where are you, zip ties? Now, usually when I apply zip ties on cables, I don't run them tight. But in this case, I'll have to run it tight. Not crazy tight, but tight, just to keep it far away from the pipe. Okay. CDI connectors are plugged. I'll plug the tail light, but I'm going to need my both hands to do this, so I'll put you guys offline. After redoing the installation, I'm going to start the engine now and see if the problem persists, and hopefully not. I'm hoping really that the problem will be solved. So let me see. I'll keep the engine running for 10-15 minutes whenever it reaches the operating temperature. I want to see it really exceeding 63 degrees and revs throughout the range. So let's see. guys, to me that repair is concluded. Obviously the coolant temperature is 77 degrees. There's no misfire whatsoever, so the reason must have been those exposed wires. Yay, victory. Right, so now I'm going to put the cover back as it was. Obviously it's repaired, there's nothing more to do here. Right, so after putting the rear body on the bike and putting everything back together, I noticed that the headlights were not working. Now, I did check the connections, everything seemed fine, and eventually I came to know the reason. I checked the fuse, and the fuse was busted. You can actually see it very clear here. So I'm going to put in a new fuse, and that's I can't, guys, stress how important is it that whenever you do any upgrade to any electrical system, if you add any new equipments on your vehicle, whether it's a bike, a car, airplane, whatever that is, always ensure that you are having fuses. If you don't have them, there is a good chance that there will be a short circuit, and that's really something not pleasant. You don't want this to happen. Right, so let's put the new fuse in its new home. Right, fuse have locked in. Fuse is in place, and obviously we have tail light and we have headlight. Excellent. Now this is 100% repaired. It's 100% ready to go. And so I will take it in the weekend to the desert and have as much fun with it as I can. Alright guys, so I got it fixed. Yay, I've done it. I really love this feeling when I get things fixed with my own hands and with my tools. Now, the takeout from this video: if you face any problem, don't just go and throw parts at your vehicle or application. Do comprehensive testing. You could throw parts and these parts could turn out to be good and they are not the cause of the issue. That's one thing. Always think logically. Analyze the issue. Be aware of the conditions when the issue appears, and when the conditions when the issue disappears, when it's obvious and when it's hidden. Now this will help you big time to analyze the problem and realize what could go wrong, what possibly which component of the vehicle or the application have caused this problem. So I'm extremely happy, extremely excited. I'm definitely taking this out in the weekend to the desert and do some dunes bashing, and I can't wait to do that. It's been a few weeks where the bike was broken and I did not have time to fix it right away, so it had to wait. And yeah, I can't wait. So thanks a lot guys for watching. I really appreciate that, and I hope this video was helpful, and if you have a similar application, it's definitely going to give you an insight of what can go wrong with you. If you have another application, then I hope that this have inspired you to do the proper investigation and to track the root of your problem. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, be safe, and do it yourself.